Welcome back to the Kwasi Arsenal channel. My name is Kwasi. Welcome back to a brand new video. David Ornstein has revealed that Arsenal are working on their second signing of the summer after it is internally believed that the Martin Zubimendi deal is done and dusted. Now, there are 3 deals Arsenal are working on right now, and we believe that Arsenal are quite advanced on them. We're going to be discussing those deals, especially Andre Bata coming in. A lot of transfer dealings are really working at a very, very quick pace. And also, there is a deal that Arsenal are looking at, and it could progress very quickly before even the Nico Williams deal. And that deal is the Huijsen sunset deal. So let me know in the comment box below, what do you think about Arsenal not really prioritizing a left winger? Do you think that this season, what we have seen so far, Arsenal could go into another season without a new left winger? Do you think there is hope for Trossard and Martinelli to rise their levels, to raise their standards, and probably give us that performance that we have not seen in the last 2 years? Let me know in the comment box below. Now, David Ornstein, obviously talking to CBS yesterday, he gave us a lot of news, a lot of updates when it comes to the Arsenal transfer window. He talked about Thomas Partey, and he confirmed that Thomas Partey is yet to get a new contract at Arsenal, but that deal is in progress, and by the time things flip around, Partey might be signing a new deal at the club. We've done that story. Go and check it out. Now, he has also said that the Martin Zubimendi deal internally, it is done, it is dusted. Everyone internally at Arsenal believes that this deal is done and dusted, and Arsenal at the moment are believing and they are behaving as if the deal is their first signing of the summer. So they're working on their second signing. Arsenal believe that our first signing of the summer is done. We are working on our second deal of the summer. And he said the couple of things that Arsenal want to do this summer. It's going to be a very busy summer, especially with Mikel Arteta saying he wants a new goalkeeper without a doubt. Jean Garcia wanted, but we don't know whether Andre Bata is going to activate that position, because a couple of reports have come in and and they have reported that Andre Bata has changed a few things from the summer transfer plans that Arsenal were already having. Jean Garcia is one of the players Arsenal have been talked to ever since Andre Bata came in as new sporting director. But then he also says that Arsenal are looking to bring in a left winger, but that's going to depend on whether Arsenal lose one of their current left wingers. Now, of course, that could be Raheem Sterling, that could be Trossard, that could be Gabriel Martinelli. We'll talk about that as well. But he says Arsenal are looking into that position as well, and they are very serious. Also, he says a striker is very important. Now, talking about the second signing of the summer, I think Andre Bata and Mikel have already agreed that this summer is going to be one where we go for deals early and very quickly. In fact, Mikel Arteta said that he wants his players before pre-season. That is before the 25th of July. We should have our players ready and our signings already in. The players that we're not going to use should be out of the door. Obviously, I mean, it's impossible for all of them, but at least many of them, the likes of Gigino, the likes of Kieran, the likes of Zinchenko, should be out of the door, and the likes of Zubimendi, the likes of Alexander Isak or Gyökeres or Šeško should be inside the club if that is going to happen. So what are the 3 deals that are leading contenders to be our second signing of the summer? Number 1, Andre Bata, a big fan of Gyökeres, and he's done a lot of work on this one, and it's an easy deal as well. Of course, it's got a few complications when it comes to add-ons and negotiations with Sporting CP, because CP have said we will let the player go, no problem with that. We'll let the player go for about 60 to 70 million euros, rising to 70 million euros. But that doesn't mean that's going to be an easy negotiation. Maybe Arsenal would want to pay less than 70 million euros. Maybe would want to take advantage of the market opportunity. I don't know. But Gyökeres is likely, highly likely, to be our second signing of the summer. Personal terms are not a problem. Arsenal have offered the contract to the player. The player and his agent are like, that's not a bad deal. 200k per week on a 5-year deal. That's not a bad. That's not a bad contract. And then Sporting CP as well have talked to the player, and they have agreed that you can leave this summer. So it's about Arsenal agreeing a deal between us and Sporting CP. As according to what we're hearing, Gyökeres is going to reject any club in the Premier League for Arsenal. Liverpool are not much interested. I don't know if they're interested. I don't know if they will be interested after selling Darwin Núñez. But at the moment, Arsenal are battling out with Manchester United, Chelsea, and Tottenham, and we're leading the rest. So if I was to predict who is going to be our second signing of the summer, I would say Victor Gyökeres. A deal can be done early. Sporting CP are willing to sell. They have an agreement with the player on the price that it should be going for. And Arsenal, looking at our budget, we have that money. I mean, we've been talking about Alexander Isak. You don't talk about Isak unless you're willing to splash about £90 million on that position. So if Arsenal have been willing to splash about £90 million on Alexander Isak, it should be easy for us to spend 58 or 59 million pounds on Victor Gyökeres. So for me, I kind of feel like that is going to be our second signing of the summer. And also, Gyökeres is a player that has a lot to catch up with when it comes to the Mikel Arteta system. You know, a player like Gabriel Jesus, a player like Julian Alvarez, they don't need a lot of catching up with Mikel Arteta. Why? They played with Pep Guardiola, they played at Manchester City, a team that really loves possession and really plays with the ball a lot of the time. But when you're playing with when you're signing a player like Victor Gyökeres, you want him to come quite early because he's playing in a system that's so different to Arsenal. Sporting will exploit a lot of spaces in behind, and they will use a lot of pace. That is not Arsenal, right? Arsenal is a team that wants to suffocate the opponent with very, very short passes, torture you mentally until they find a breakthrough. That's why Victor Gyökeres, for me, if he's going to be a next striker, he's got to come in nice and early. The second, the second deal that could be our second signing of the summer is still a striker, and this is Benjamin Šeško. So I think a couple of days ago, I saw a story that Andre Bata had also reached out to the entourage of Benjamin Šeško to continue negotiations on a potential summer deal. And that means that Arsenal want to keep their options open. We just want to make sure that nothing goes wrong this summer. And I tell you, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with my club going out there and saying, this is what we want to do this summer, and whatever happens, we are going to stick to it, right? So Benjamin Šeško is, a big contender if Gyökeres doesn't happen. And the reason as to why Šeško is a big contender, again, Arsenal have been willing to splash about £90 million on Alexander Isak, so it should be quite cheaper to sign a player like Šeško. He's gonna cost about 58, 57 million pounds. That's about 65 to 70 million euros. That should be okay. The only complication with Šeško is this. One, if Arsenal gets Gyökeres, that deal doesn't happen. Number two, every time Šeško scores a goal, his release clause rises. It rose from 60 to 65 to 70 to 75, and now we are hearing that his release clause is 80 million euros. Now, I don't understand, first and foremost. This guy's got like 21 goals, right? How is this release clause rising up to 80 million euros just because he scored 20 goals? It's kind of weird. But the reason as to why this deal is a huge contender to be our second signing of the summer is because Arsenal have done a lot of groundwork on this one since last summer. We've talked to the players' camp lots and lots of the time. We've talked to the to RB Leipzig lots and lots of the time. Fabrizio revealed in January that talks did happen. In February, talks continued as well, even before Andre Bata coming in. And if it's true that Andre Bata has also reached out to Benjamin Šeško, then Arsenal are looking at those two positions at the same time. If one doesn't happen, definitely the other is going to happen. In my opinion, I've told you before, I would love to see Arsenal get, Victor Gyökeres. But if it is Šeško that fate says that we're going to end up with, then there's no problem. Now, the advantage with Benjamin Šeško as well is it's a deal that Arsenal can do early. Again, it doesn't have any problems. Once the summer comes around, the release clause will be activated. Arsenal can go and activate that release clause or negotiate around it and get the deal done. So those are the two striker positions Arsenal could get in terms of our second signing of the summer. Now, the third contender for second signing of the summer is actually a defender, right? And this deal is not quite advanced, but I have a feeling it can progress very quickly. This is Huijsen at Bournemouth. And many Arsenal fans really don't understand this deal, do they? And at first I did understand it. But I want to tell you, Huijsen, I want you to picture Huijsen and the deal, practically, like the Ben White deal, like the Julian Timber deal, like the Lisandro Martinez deal, that kind of deal. That kind of deal that Mikel Arteta likes, that kind of deal that Mikel Arteta wants, and I won't be surprised if Huijsen is our second signing of the summer. Now, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why this deal could be done quickly. 1, there is a lot of competition on the deal. Newcastle, Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal. We are being told that about 5 English Premier League clubs are interested in Huijsen, excluding Bayern, Madrid, and a couple of other clubs outside the Premier League. So this is going to have a lot of competition. But Bournemouth have already come out and said, listen, the player has a release clause, £50 million, right? This is where, and this is how I can see Arsenal get this deal done. If Mikel Arteta is truly obsessed with Huijsen, if he's truly like glued onto Huijsen, I can see this deal done nice, quickly, and early. I can see this deal agreed within like a week, because it's about convincing the player, triggering the release clause of the player, and getting the deal done. Now, why I think that this deal to Arsenal is complicated is I think it's a deal that Arsenal would love to negotiate around. Probably get him for around 40 to 45 million. I know Mikel Arteta is trying to employ the strategy at Manchester City where they have so many centre-backs and full-backs, Akanji, Diaz, Kusanov and the others. And I think that's what Mikel is trying to build at Arsenal. Just have reliable defensive talent lying around. But for 50 million, I think if there wasn't a lot of competition, Arsenal would love to negotiate that price up to about 40 or 43 million. But because there is a lot of competition, again, I won't be surprised for Arsenal to get 50 million banging on the table and the deal happens. So Huijsen at Bournemouth, I don't know why Arsenal are willing to splash that much on a centre back, but he must be good, right? He's good, I've seen him, but he really must be good in the eyes of Andre Bata, in the eyes of Mikel Arteta, and in the eyes of everyone at the club. In a summer where Arsenal's priority has been attacking options, for us to hold those plans and think about a centre-back for 50 million, he must be good. And I think Mikel is looking at him as a Ben White, right? So there have been a few, there's been talk about Ben White and his future at Arsenal hanging a balance. I don't think it's hanging a balance. I think Arsenal are just creating defensive options and there will be a lot of competition, right? And a lot of rotation. The other deal is Ornstein sunset at Atletico Bilbao. So I want you to think about the Ornstein sunset deal like the Fabio Vieira deal. Remember that summer where Arsenal were linked with Jesus, Zinchenko, Lisandro Martinez. Like, we were so focused on Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko and Lisandro Martinez, and we're like, wow, Lisandro Martinez could be our second signing of the summer. And then there was also Yuri Tillemans in that same summer as well. And then boom, Arsenal signed Fabio Vieira from FC Porto within 24 hours. And we're like, what? What just happened? Arsenal have signed who? Who is he? What? I think Ornstein sunset could be that Fabio Vieira deal. And it makes sense. Listen to me. I doubt, and I don't think, Fabio Vieira is going to be kept at Arsenal. Now, FC Porto want to keep him for another year and potentially buy him. But Arsenal is saying if you're taking him, it has to be on a permanent deal. Right, nice and early. But what Arsenal are trying to do, we're trying to offload Vieira. We have offloaded Smith Rowe. Yes, we brought in Mika Moreno, but I think there would be another player, the profile of Fabio Vieira, the profile of Smith Rowe, and that could be Ornstein sunset. According to what we're hearing, Mikel Arteta is a big fan of the Spanish international. 24 years of age, about 60 million euros. That can be negotiated down to about 45 million euros, in my opinion. Oyhan Sunset can be the second signing of the summer. Keep your eyes open on that deal. Obviously, the second choice goalkeeper is a deal Arsenal could do, but these ones are usually done later on in the summer. Then you have Nico Williams, but I think for Nico Williams, like David Ornstein has revealed, Arsenal have to first sell one of the wingers. And this complicates the deal. This complicates the deal further. Like, Nico Williams wants a lot of wages. His wages have to come down. That's number one. Number two, Bilbao will want a lot of money if the release clause is not going to be triggered. That is number two. Number three, there's a lot of competition on the deal. And number four, Arsenal have to first sell in order to get the deal done. It complicates the deal further. It really, really does. But what I want to say with Nico is it's a deal that will happen later on in the summer rather than a little bit earlier on. That's what I think. Hit that button, subscribe to the channel as well, and more transfer news coming your way very soon.